Everyone. Money, money, money. Money. Money, money, money. Yes. Hello.
Hello, good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's talk about some
Let's
money.
do it. I'm so excited for this.
Me too. One of my favorite subjects. How's it get even better, Ben? What else is
How
possible?
does it get any better?
Ah,
We're so excited to have everybody here joining us, whether you're joining us live or listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our podcast, Wake Up Wednesdays with Ben and Daniel, everywhere you like to stream. Daniel, what's going on with money in your life?
ooh. I just want to take a shout out to some very, very potent beings who are here, including Irina, who is really, really, really kind of been one of those people in my life that has really invited me to ask for more and
Mm,
invited me to ask for more luxury in my life, whereby empowering me to ask for whatever the resources are to actually manifest that and actualize that. Irina is one
wow,
of my
thank you, Arena.
yeah, man. I can and of course she knows. She logs on immediately. She sees me here, and sees us here because she loves our podcast. But it is really, really an amazing thing, isn't it? Money. I think that
Excuse me.
there. Oh yeah,
Yes,
bless
it
you.
is. I was just like so overtaken by it. Yeah.
So exciting. It's so exciting to talk about money. But you know what I've noticed also, Ben, is that a lot of people, and myself included in the former, I used to
Mm-hmm.
also be like that. Money was something that kind of made me nervous. It made me
Mm-hmm.
scared. It was like I used to be one of those people that I didn't check my bank account because I was afraid to see how much money I actually did have. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And then of course, you get the notice, oh, you're overdrawn. And you're like, oh yeah, surprise, and then you end up going into a deeper debt and creating more debt, more crazy, crazy, crazy things like that. Right. And so what if we actually changed our relationship with money and money was actually simply just an energy,
Mm.
right? We
I
see
love that.
money as paper. We see it as plastic. We see it as all those things that we've
See
decided
this
it
a
is.
material thing that has so much immense
Yeah,
value or stake in our lives.
because it is what we give it, right?
Yeah.
It's the belief that we give it that
Ooh,
gives
let's
it all
talk
that
about those
value.
beliefs. Could we talk
Mhm.
about that before we move
Yeah,
into the energy part?
of course.
Is there's a, and also I want to say hi to Jeffrey who's here. I see you, and also to Eli, everybody who's part of this community. Thank you for being here.
Hi, everyone.
I want to talk. You mentioned something, Daniel, about your old beliefs around money, and I want to check in with our community here and see who resonates with this. I have
Hmm.
so many. I love talking about this because for me, this was one of the biggest challenges in my life up until probably 10 or 15 years ago when
Sure.
I just said no more will I deal with this issue. But I was taught. So I'm curious what you learned from money, and I just want to share a couple things. This is actually coming up. I know you've got an awesome course about money that's coming up that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
And I was creating Dude School, which is my new men's course, and we have a week on money. And I was thinking about all the different things coming up, and it's amazing that you've got this course on money starting tonight.
Yeah.
And because I've been thinking about it a lot, there's been a lot of scarcity showing up in my world, and I've gotten to
Sure.
really talk to men. Um, One of the things I love about this course is getting intimate and saying, what did you learn about money, and what did I learn about money, and
Right.
where did we learn that from? And that was gifted to me from a teacher. I think we talked about this briefly in an actors union in Times Square, and Actors Equity. They were giving free classes on money because so many artists and people who don't have regular 9 to 5s are structured. I've noticed, for me at least, really struggled with money and how to hold on to it and how to invest it, especially if you don't have regular income or you don't have regular spending habits. But if we look a little bit further, like I was saying, for my parents, like what I learned about money growing up, and mostly it was that, only this certain class of people had money, and actually they were pretty gross. So, we don't actually want to have a lot of money, because if that's what having money looks like, that like,
We don't want to be associated with it.
yeah,
Right.
and they don't do what they love. We do what we love in our
Right.
family. We are
Right.
survivors and sufferers, and we help the little man, and we help my dad always loved helping the underdog and getting in there. And he even told me if I wanted to make money, I wouldn't have become a priest. I wanted to help people,
What an
not
interesting
just
point of
make
view, huh?
money. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I really learned, like, the martyr must suffer. And then especially the artist must suffer. And I didn't know how to make rock and roll in my life without having a large amount of alcohol in my system. Uh, Everything I was taking on had to have suffering attached, including money. And if I had money, I could not save it. And for me, I started to realize it's because there's some belief about myself. And I remember saying, I want to be famous one day, but never as famous as David Copperfield. Because I was just thinking, when you're that famous and that rich, you don't have any life anymore. You can't go outside. You can't just hang with people. You become this like martyr up on a pedestal, and you also are no longer connected to people. So I also had this belief that I couldn't have money and be connected to people. And I've started to learn
Sure.
that from men too. Other people or whatever the gender I've worked with, that sometimes making money can mean that we're going to outgrow our friends and family or our community. And I've even had family and friends resent me when I had lots of money, because when it came easy to me, right? Well, one day, learn to get a real job. And I'm like, well, I'm making a lot of money. The day I told my mom I wanted to be a professional magician, and she was like, "Ooh, maybe you can bag groceries. I think that'd be a lot safer." And I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna make $150 or $200 doing this, but I'd have to bag groceries for 2 weeks to make that. Like, I'm about to do what I love and help a bunch
Yeah.
of people." It was just,
Yeah.
yet I saw it. And then my mom would tell me to like hold on to the pennies, and my dad would be like, money comes and go, just use it while you got it. And
Right.
wow, as an adult, I was like, I don't have anything to stand on. So I just wanted to share all that to see what you relate to, Daniel, what anyone else relates to. Like, I definitely
Yeah.
didn't have a money course in school.
No, of course not. And I agree with absolutely everything you're saying. I think that's a very, very, probably a pretty strong middle class belief system that we grew up with, right? That people who had money lived on that side of the tracks. They were in
Hmm.
that neighborhood. People that had money didn't have time for other people who were the commoners, like we were, and all this kind of stuff. And my parents, I mean, and my family, it was never really, we never really, it was never, we never really talked about money. That's what was so interesting. So growing up, my point of view about money was I was only a child, and both of my parents were school teachers. So it's not like they were filthy rich, but both of my parents were school teachers. And, we lived very, very comfortably. And because I was an only child, I would presume anything and everything I asked for, I received. I got. So when all of a sudden I had to learn what money was, I would naturally gravitate towards the things that I liked, and they would be quote unquote too expensive. Like I remember going to my first Bloomingdale's, not having an awareness of anything other than what I liked. And I immediately gravitated to an Armani blazer. And I put it on and it fit like a glove. And I told my mom, I was like, I have to have this. Look how amazing this. I was like 14 or 15 years old. And I was like, I have to have this. I'm like, Mom, look. And my mom is like, Bobby, it's $550. Do you know how much money that is? And I'm like, what? Who cares? I have to have this. And I actually remember I actually caused a scene because I didn't get it, because I had no point of view that it was something that we couldn't afford or something that
Yeah.
was a luxury or anything like that. From that moment on, I made a commitment to myself to actually not let money control my life, right? From the point of view of what I thought it was. I just wanted what I wanted, and I wanted to go after it. However, what that did to me is it created a tremendous amount of disconnect. It created a tremendous amount of debt. I saw money as something that I wasn't willing to respect, that I wasn't willing to acknowledge, that I wasn't willing to to include in my life. And
Mm.
so I racked up tens of thousands of dollars worth in debt just because I was running a credit card every time I wanted something, no matter what, because that's what I knew.
Mm.
Okay. So I went through a lot of periods in my life, and I too was an actor, and I had moments of making a lot of money and moments of making none. I had moments of having to live off of $1.99 Ray's pizza in New York City. And I had money, I had times when I ate at Le Cirque. Like I've seen it all, I've done it all, I've been it all. Right. And those highs and those lows are part of the momentum that keeps us trapped, into the belief that money is something that we cannot have. Okay? Have. What would it be like, feel like, taste like, experience to have money? Not to spend it, not to make it, not to work for it, not to any of that, but just to have money. We're unwilling to have money because we're uncomfortable with it, right? Oftentimes, many of us will get money, and when we get money, we go and spend it because we're
Mhm.
so uncomfortable having it. Okay?
Mm.
Now take all of that energy, and now what I want us all to think about, and this is the real basis of our class that we'll begin this evening. Do you walk around saying, wow, I wonder if I can make enough oxygen to survive today? No. Do you walk around saying, I wonder if if I have enough gravity to keep my feet planted on the ground today? No. Do you, when your phone dies and it has no more electricity, do you go, oh my God, I wonder how I'm going to be able to charge my phone? No. You walk over to the wall and you plug it in,
Mm.
because all of those things are energy, and they are in an abundant, unlimited supply. So if money is energy, then what too can we be to actually actualize the same experience, to simply know that money is here, and all you have to do is ask for it and be willing to have it, be willing to receive it. And money comes in, because it is an energy, it comes in so many different ways, Ben. It's not just paper. Every time somebody buys you a coffee, every time somebody takes you out, every time somebody does something for you, that's money. We've
Mm.
got to begin acknowledging how money is in our lives, so that the minute we acknowledge it, we can actually create more of it.
Yes.
That is the understanding that money is just energy. But if we give it all this power and all this attention, that it's this physical thing that I have to work hard for, that I have to earn, that I have to make, then we're only going to be stuck in a belief that that's the only way that we're ever going to have money. You know? And okay, so many of you may be saying,
Mm.
wow, what have you done to actualize this in your life? And that is why I've become so passionate about teaching this class,
Mm.
because it is simply the forget about money, and let's just focus on the energy of receiving. How much are you unwilling to receive? How much are we unwilling to receive in our lives? We go, no, it's okay. No, it's okay. I don't need that. It's okay. Thank you so much. It's so kind of you. No. We don't receive. But if we don't receive, then we can't receive anything. We can't receive money either. We've got to become congruent with our receiving. That's what
Yes.
I began to work on. I
Mm.
began to work on my receiving. And once I started to work on my receiving, the money just started to flow. I
Yeah.
live a life right now that I will tell you, Ben, I could not even imagine living 5 years ago.
Mm.
And I can't tell you how I did it. I really can't. I can't sit here and say, well, I did this 6-figure course, and that 6-figure course did this, and then I did this, and then I did that. I can't tell you. I cannot explain why I live the life that I do, other than that I chose it. I asked for it. I kept asking for greater. I kept asking for greater. I kept asking for more. And it led me to this. And so I know that there's something here, and I am certainly not claiming to be the guru of money because I am still asking every day for more and more and more and more and more. And you know what? It's showing up. It's
Mm,
showing up. But I am telling you that I am on a journey with you. I am on this journey because it excites me to see you make money. It
mm,
excites me to see people in my life all of a sudden rocket to success and say, wow, I can't believe this is the life that I'm living. That's
yeah.
what that's why we do what we do, Ben. We do what we do so that people can be happy ultimately at the end of the day. Right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
There's a
Jeffrey, I
great,
want to it's such a great question Jeffrey says. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Ben. He says, with that in mind, do you think people choose poverty, dude? Yes, dude. I actually do believe people choose poverty. I don't believe, so to speak, that people know that they're choosing poverty. I think that we get so used to being comfortable and aligning with what we have been told we have to have.
mhm,
And that is how we choose poverty, right? We don't ask questions about creating more outside of poverty. We just say, hey, look, this is how I was born. I was born into an impoverished situation, or I was born, this is my lifestyle, this is the way it is. We buy those beliefs, Jeffrey. We buy those beliefs and we make them a reality. But you can look around you and see all the people who overcame poverty. I'm going to use the most obvious example, which I think is Oprah Winfrey. You know, somebody who truly came from nothing. She is one of the
mhm.
richest, if not the richest woman in the world, right? There's always a choice to be had. And Jeffrey also says South Sudan wouldn't have that reality. But what if it took one person to inspire a different change within South Sudan that gave them the space to believe that it was possible? A lot of places in the world, they are controlled by people that don't want them to have money. Because if they did have money, what change would occur in the world that those leaders are unwilling to allow to happen? Therefore, and watches propaganda. So what if we just taught people to choose, to think for themselves? What if you could actually choose for yourselves and actually, instead of having to follow all these leaders blindly or do all of these other things?
Yeah.
Jeffrey, I have compassion for those who live in poverty. I have compassion for those who are in impoverished nations. Trust me, I just spent 2 months in Indonesia, and let me tell you, there's a lot of poverty there. But just because there's poverty, that is what it looks like to you and me. The joy and the happiness and the love in these people's lives, they are richer than we are.
Yeah.
So who are we to judge who is in poverty and who is poor?
Yeah.
Right? So that's another point of view that we want to actually welcome. Okay, I'd like to learn about this. I'd like to become more aware of it. And how can we
Yeah.
change it? How can we be the cause instead of the effect? I am not up here on uh, a golden chair, a golden throne, saying that it's not right or it's not wrong. That's not what I'm offering. I'm offering that there's a different perspective. And what if we were able to change that perspective so that we could empower everyone to have money? We also have an interesting point of view that there are only certain people who can have money, that people in South Sudan can have money. And that's also bullshit. If you can eat, breathe, sleep, and think, you can be rich. Every single one of us. There is no excuse. Consciousness is the greatest source of abundance, it is the greatest source of wealth. And most of us are pissing it away. So thank you, Jeffrey, for those questions and those comments.
Those are great. This is powerful. Thank you for that too, Daniel.
Yeah.
Um, I share very similar points of view, and I've met a magician in Costa Rica who came from nothing, and he became a magician, and now he's from Brazil, and he has gone to the slums of Brazil and begun to teach children magic there.
That's
And
amazing.
through magic, they're learning to gain self confidence, learn exchange money, um, and get
And
some
see that
kind
it's
of tool to be
possible.
creative and see that it's
Yeah.
possible. And even bringing he brought them to New York to perform a magic show. And
Incredible.
we all got to pay and meet these kids. And some people were like, this is really uncomfortable because they're so poor and they're going right back to that. I said, but it's in traveling is some of the greatest education, because when we can see what's possible,
Yeah.
if we've been stuck in a single reality for so long, so many of us just need to see something else to
Yes.
know that we too can have that. Because if you grow up in those slums, you're taught to believe that your life is going to be this way,
Yeah. And there's no other
right?
choice. You're
Yeah.
taught to
And
believe there is
if,
no other choice. And if you do have a choice, you're not one of us,
yeah, yeah. And that's
right?
how it
And
was for
that's
me growing up in the
abandonment.
South. If I
Right.
moved to New York, it's like you're abandoning us. You're
Totally.
abandoning Southern pride and your family and all this stuff. And I said, but I'm going, I told my family, I'm not here to do the same thing. I'm here to do what I love. And
Yes.
luckily I had a father that believed in me enough to really, I don't know what tools he was given in the 30s in Western Tennessee, but he somehow knew that we had to go after it, right? And
Yeah.
that he had this belief that money would come. But there wasn't anything about building wealth or believing in ourselves beyond that. And
Right.
that it's okay to have that money and energy, because ultimately what I think about when I have money, I'm going to be investing it in people. I'm going to pay my team more. I'm going to
Yeah.
hire more people. I'm going to
Yeah.
make my work available for more people in the world.
It's such a
It's about
great feeling, isn't
amplifying.
it? It's
Yeah.
amazing. Just when I was in Indonesia for the last 2 months, it sounds so self-righteous. I know that it can sound so self-righteous, but gratuity is not a thing there, right? Like people
Mm,
don't tip there. And
mm,
having been someone who worked in the hospitality industry who thrived on tips, I always tip no matter where in the world I am, right? And I remember we were in Bali and I just ended up tipping the waiter what I would normally tip somebody. And the look on this person's face was like, no, 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 you don't tip here. And I was like, please allow me. This is my gift to you. This woman started crying. I gave her
mm,
$6. Okay. What would be the equivalent of $6? 100,000 rupiah. I gave her $6 and she started crying. And you know what she said to me? She said, you just changed my life this week. What? For $6? Oh my God, please give me
mm,
so many opportunities to do this. Give me so many opportunities to
mm,
be the change for somebody to go, hey, you know what? Wow, this is amazing. I manifested this, And I told her, I said, I want you to recognize that you actually manifested this and you deserve it.
mm,
And she was like, really? I said, yeah.
mm.
Right? So we can do so much. It's like the story with the Brazilian. We can do so much to change people's lives, and we're not even aware of it.
Yeah. There was a great question too here from a user on YouTube called One More Time that said, what is a solid way to dig yourself out of debt? And I'm guessing that you probably didn't hear the first half of the conversation. Uh,
No,
but
it's such a
one,
great question.
yeah,
Yeah,
I wanted to share the first thing that popped for me is stop digging.
yeah,
Stop digging and start looking at the energy of where you're not receiving, where
yeah,
you're in no, right, to
yeah.
receiving. And because when we're trying to dig ourselves out of debt, that energy is heavy, and that
It's
keeps
helpless. It
us,
feels helpless.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
down in the ground. You're literally,
yeah.
it's like digging yourself out of a grave, right? And we've created that. So our
Right.
thoughts create our words, create our reality.
That's
So
right.
if, Daniel, what would you say to this?
I love this question because I always struggled with debt as something too. I've only recently minimized my debt. I always
Mm,
carried probably $20,000, $30,000 worth of debt. And it just became something that I had, and something changed my life immensely. This woman named Simone Milasas wrote an incredible book called Getting Out of Debt Joyfully.
hmm,
Okay.
love that.
And in the book, she says, stop calling it debt and call it an investment in your future. Okay. So, first of all, one more time, do me a favor. And instead of looking at that debt as a heaviness and as a burden and as something that has left you helpless, depleted, and all those energies that I perceive from you right now, instead say, wow, look at all of that investment that I made within myself. Okay. I made all of that investment with myself. Don't get all detailed about it. Oh, I took this dinner out. I did this. I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't have done that. I spent way too much here. I did that. That's what we call brain candy that actually will give you a lot of cavities. Okay? Instead, just say, "Hey, you know what? I invested. I made a huge investment in myself. I made $20,000, $30,000, maybe $200,000 worth of an investment in myself. And you know what? I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to make that kind of investment in myself. Shift the energy first. And then all of a sudden, when it becomes an investment, what do you do with an
Yes.
investment? An investment grows,
Yes.
right?
And investing in your
So,
debt grows too. It snowballs
yeah,
either way. Your energy, wherever your energy goes, that's what grows. Or I always
that's
say, wherever
right.
your mind goes, your energy grows, right? So wherever
That's
your
right.
focus is, that's exactly what's going to happen. So if your focus is on your debt, guess
Yeah,
what you're going to get?
you're going to get more debt. But if you focus on investment, then you're going to get more investment opportunities for you to create so that it will completely drown out that perception of debt.
And Daniel, you said something else great earlier too about this perception and already looking at your life and the wealth that's in it right now.
Hmm.
So I'm in this awesome business cohort as well, where we're talking about investors, advisors, and partners. And there's
Sure.
so many of us there, like, oh, we're not in a place where we have investors. And Matt Johnson, my friend who's leading it, stopped us and said, every single person who spends time with you in your day is investing in you.
That's
Every
right.
friend that's here, every person that shows up, and every person you are show up for, right? You're investing in their lives too. So you literally have investors and partners showing up every day. Every single one of you are investing in this conversation right now.
That's
You're
right.
actually allowing this energy to grow because you're here. It's
And you asked for it.
yeah,
Every single one of
yes.
you who is listening to this, past, present, and future, asked for everything that Ben and I are discussing today. So would you be willing to acknowledge that? Acknowledge you, acknowledge that you're asking for greater and you're receiving it. We're all
Yeah.
receiving it
Yeah.
because of your questions. Because of your questions, that's what's creating more. And I love what Jeffrey said also. You can't live a shitty should have life. You're right. You're exactly right, Jeffrey. Right? What is worse than wondering what you could have done? The regret, the resentment, the rejection. Right?
I always say don't should on yourself,
That's
because
right.
that's a judgment.
Yeah.
What we should be doing. What
Right.
could you be doing? And where are people wanting to invest in you or your time where you've been a no? And could you start to get curious about what else is possible? Who might be wanting to invest in me? What could I
Right.
invest in that would excite me? And I want to share a win out of this. I've experienced such a drought. I'm just going to declare it, with men investing in their self-care, with
So
most
true.
people investing in their self-care. I, in fact, even created a self-care program for $100, and the amount of resistance and that that people have experienced coming to this, even
Hmm.
wanting to spend that money, or God forbid, actually investing in themselves in a higher amount to work with a coach one-on-one to get the help they want. And mostly, if it doesn't involve money or sex, a lot of men,
It's true.
unless they're going to lose it all, we're not taught to really ask for help. And
Right.
so I'm literally creating new pathways to ask for help, and to try to help people, to offer. Like, we're also leading this retreat in Costa Rica, and we were almost giving it away. And it was strange that people weren't showing up. And suddenly, my partner, Jem, who I work with very closely, he was assistant for so long, said, "What if we start our own agency together?
Hmm.
We all spend all this time not doing what we love, doing what we think we should be doing. But what
Hmm.
if we could all be doing what we love? And then you
Hmm.
just have an assistant right there doing all the things you don't love to do." And so
And
we
what
were
if,
literally partnering
yeah,
on he brought to me a company, and he said, "And I want you to be my partner. And all you got to do is tell people about it, and we get to actually level up together." And
hmm.
Jolt, who's here, welcome. Yes, that $100 level is still available. It's still on my website. And I'm even making dude school Thank you. Yes, Jeffrey, I did create should. Thank you for that awareness. And I'm even creating Dude School for $100 a month for men to come in starting
That's
this month.
awesome. That's so awesome.
Um, I'm trying to eliminate the barriers we have so that we can work on these money things.
Yeah.
Um, and then on top of that, Daniel, before we go, there's a course that I am determined to be in, even though I'm going to be traveling the world here in a couple weeks. But you've got a money course coming up, and it's starting tonight. And I think it would be
Correct.
really, really powerful to share about that tonight,
Of course.
right now. So will you tell us about it?
I
Because
would be glad
Daniel's the guy I
to
go
tell you about
to
it.
to work with my energy of money. Just so you all know, like I love to talk about with him because he's such a source and access of freedom and a different point of view that can allow so much greater in my life. So Daniel, I really want to acknowledge you for that, and I'm really excited that you're leading this course. So can you tell us a little bit about this?
Thank you so much for that acknowledgement. Yeah. So the name of the course is How to Become Money. Okay. It's 10 weeks. It's a 10 call class. So it happens over 5 weeks. It's two classes a week on Monday and Wednesday. It starts at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This evening will be class number one. Each class, each call is only 45 minutes. And what we do in that space and in that energy is we talk about all of the points of views and all of the conclusions and all of the expectations that you have about money and what money is, and your willingness to have it, or your willingness to receive it, and your willingness to be it. It is accompanied by an amazing workbook called How to Become Money, which is created and written and by the incredible Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness.
Mm,
It is
exciting.
my my joy. It is my joy and my blessing to be able to teach this class. And it's $250. So it's like
Wow,
25
that's nothing.
nothing. It's
That's
$25 a
amazing.
call. If you think about
That's
it, it's like
incredible.
$25 a call. And you'll also get recordings so that you can listen to the recordings and the clearings over and over and over again. And so
Cool.
if it feels light, there's no prerequisites. You're going to learn a little bit of what access consciousness is. And you can go to my website and sign up. And you'll get a link emailed to you to join the private Zoom. And then you'll get all the info on how to receive the recordings and how to have it. Okay.
Amazing. I'm gonna
Yeah.
drop that link in right now. If you're on Instagram, just
Yeah.
go to Daniel's bio and you
Yeah.
can click that link. And I want to also, I'm planning to be on this course, whether in the recordings or not. He did this last year, and I've heard amazing things about it. So I highly encourage you all to do this.
Yeah.
And I want to let you know, before we go, also, I mentioned Dude School. This is
Yeah.
something that's been culminating for me for years. I've been creating this, and this is an invitation for any man. This is a place to work through this money stuff. You could take Daniel's course and still come be part of Dude School, which is on Mondays. I have two groups at 12 and 6 p.m. for
Cool.
90 minutes. And it's a safe and sacred space for men to practice talking about these things. You can share your most shameful moments. You can get coaching around that to shift our
Hmm.
points of views. You can get support,
Yeah.
accountability buddies, a community, and reprogramming ourselves, because most of us didn't have the parents or the men we needed in our lives. And this is, I believe, one of the greatest ways we can help women and help the world is to really start to deal with men having those spaces to heal and grow. So if you're a
Yeah.
man, if you're listening, if you have a man in your life, it's going to be $97 a month. It used to be $300 a month. And I
That's
just
such
want
an
men
investment.
here. And it's going to be a small group. And if the group gets so big, then we're going to create another group.
Yeah.
So this is an invitation to all of you. And by the way, Daniel doesn't know this yet, but he's already said it. He's said yes, but he's going to be a guest speaker in Dude School.
That's right.
Um,
Gladly.
so you can take his course, you can experience Daniel, you can be part of that. And this is your invitation to Dude School and
Mhm.
your invitation to how to become money, because this is the work I'm doing. I take money courses like this and I apply them to my program. So I'm going to be taking Daniel's too to learn from him, and I invite you all to come learn with me, because this is one of the reasons I created Dude School, is because it's time that we start learning together, stop competing with each other.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
if you're a coach or you're someone who already works on money, then I doubly invite you to come be part of this
That's right.
conversation and add to it. Let's all give value and make this conversation bigger than us. Let's
Yeah,
invite everyone into the space. Invite your partner. If you're struggling with money in your relationship, invite them into it.
right. There's an energy here too, Ben, that I want to address, and that's the energy a lot of us get locked into, which is the energy of competition, right?
Yeah.
And competition is an energy that disconnects us from creating more, you know? And one of the things that I have learned so much about our relationship and how we have grown together is that, true collaboration, for me, collaboration is the new competition, right? So what if
Mm,
collaboration replaced all those places in your life where competition was your norm? And
mm,
I will tell you, just energetically, just since you and I have began our process of working together, we've done several events together. We've had this podcast for over a year and a half, and I know that our partnership, our creationship, creates so much more, both individually in my life and also collectively when we're together. Ben and I
mm.
did an amazing 21-day integrity tune-up in November, and what came out of that collaboration was so huge that I started to see the ripple effects in every area of my life, including money, right?
Mm.
So that's something else we're going to discuss in my class too. The How to Become Money class is how we're looking at how we make money and how we earn money and how it's limiting us. So what if that was a new thing? What if it was a
Great.
new?
How we make money, how we earn money, and how it's limiting us. That's great.
Mhm.
That's great.
Instead of
Because
having
what if your friend's like, hey, I got this idea. I don't know. Let me share it with you. And suddenly you're just making money by just sharing,
yeah,
and you're helping people. That it
exactly.
could be so simple if we're willing to ask for help. Like being on this podcast with Daniel, getting to do classes with him, getting to invite other coaches in to my space. We can really work with each other. We can shift this energy from within us right now. We can start shifting this money conversation right now. And I,
Yeah,
I would assert that everyone who's here is actually doing that. You're investing in what's possible right now. So thank you all for being part of this.
yeah,
Please subscribe to our podcast if you're listening and you haven't already, so that you can be the first one to get these episodes. And there's lots more. We keep them short and sweet. And I guarantee if there's an area of your life that you're struggling with, we can help set you free around that, because this is about waking up to your potential. So thank you for being part of that conversation with us, as we do this with you and through you and together. So thank you.
and thank you all for showing up. Just whatever brought you here, whatever made you click, past, present, or future. Thank you for showing up today, and thank you for asking, and thank you for being a part of the co-creation. And as always, Ben, I love you very much, and I thank you for being in my life and
I
being a
love you
co-creator with me.
too. I love you too. And we do these every week. We try to do them at the same time every week. I will be in Costa Rica next week, so we'll see what we create. But this will keep
Yeah.
coming. And thank you all for contributing. If there's something that you have on your mind, a burning question, please send us a message. I said probably Instagram is the best way. Reach out to us or send us an email. And if you want to get in this course, either both, just click on our bios. It's right there.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to introduce anyone in my life to Daniel.
Likewise.
I plan on being there. And if no one told you they love you today, I love you. I
I
love
love
you,
you too.
Daniel.
I love you, Ben. I love you all. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you guys. Yeah, we'll see you same